Hi guys, welcome back to Rybrook TV, welcome to the middle of nowhere, and welcome to this. This is the BMW 128 Ti. Now this is a little bit of an impromptu video because I'm here to take some nice photos of this car for some marketing material, etc, etc. But on the way over, it kind of got me thinking. I think that the 128 Ti is actually one of the most underrated and forgotten about cars in the BMW lineup. So, a little bit of an impromptu video, but we're going to have a little walk and talk around the Ti, and then I'm going to jump inside, take it for a drive, and, well, let's just talk about this car and how forgotten about it is. Okay, so, here we go. Firstly, what is the 128 Ti? Well, it sits in the 1 Series lineup above your everyday models, like your 118i, 120d, etc., and slightly below the M135i, which is obviously the top of the range performance version of this car. But what separates it firstly? Well, visually, it looks pretty much the same as a 1 Series with an M Pro pack. However, there are a few little differences, key among which is the red that you'll see everywhere. So on the little veins here at the front, and we've got red brake calipers in there, upgraded brakes, much bigger than usual. You've then got the red along the side here, which then leads round to a TI logo on here. Round the back, again, you've got the little red accents down here by the vents that aren't vents, and then TI model designation on the rear here. But I have to say, I know this 1 Series got quite a bit of flack when it first came out, but look at how awesome this thing looks up here on top of these, well, a nice location actually on its own. Let's move right round to the front. So this has a Pro pack, so we've got the slightly bigger wheels. As standard, they come with 18s, I believe. These are 19s, and they look fantastic. Moving around to the front, we've now got, I mean, they are Corona rings, but you notice with a lot of BMW design now, they're sort of kind of moving away from the Corona rings. So we've got black grills on here as well, part of the Ti. What do you think? What do you think of the look of this? The best way I would say to think of the 128 Ti is like a Golf GTI, a more powerful, more driver-focused version of the 1 Series. Now, under the bonnet, there is a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine with around 270 horsepower, which is quite a lot, as we'll discuss a little bit later when we go for a drive. But let me just take you to the interior and show you this before we go and have a bit of a drive. So, it is the usual 1 Series interior, which means it's really well trimmed. You've got some red stitching on the steering wheel here, red accents down here on the door mats, you've got red all throughout the seats, and then you've got a Ti logo right in the middle. But you get a standard, obviously, automatic gearbox, digital cockpit, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It is a really lovely place to sit. This particular car has got the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system, and a couple of little additions as well. I mean, what do you think? I think it looks absolutely wonderful in there, and it is a really high quality, lovely place to sit. But let's be honest, what we want to talk about really is the drive of this car. So let's jump into the driver's seat and go and do that. So why are we filming the 128 Ti again? Well, to put it simply, I'd forgotten how good this car was. I feel like over the last 2 years, I think it's been around for about 2 years now, it's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. We first filmed it about 2 years ago when it first came out, put it up against an M135i, which was my car at the time. And I came out of the experience thinking, that Ti is a very special little car. And then since then, it's kind of just been there. It's kind of just been there in the background. It's almost played a little second fiddle to the 135i. The M135i had a bit of a resurgence not too long ago as BMW individual colours were available for it. So we started seeing purple silks and different ones, and it had a real resurgence in the social media world, so it was back at the forefront of everybody's minds. But the Ti didn't have that. The Ti has just been there as this car in the lineup that has just been, as I say, forgotten about, I think. And this is testament to how good I think these things are. My mother and father-in-law actually drive one of these on my recommendation, because I thought at the time, they had it about 2 years ago when it first came out, they absolutely adore it. And I adore this car as well. So I just thought, let's set the cameras up and let's have a little chat, shall we, about the 128 Ti. So what have we got then? What's the recipe? Well, we've got around 270 horsepower, we've got 0 to 62 in around 6 seconds, we've got the usual 1 Series platform, so it's very well trimmed in here, it's very nice to look at in my opinion. I think it's grown on people a hell of a lot since it first came out, this car. We've got the red accents everywhere, which on some colours I don't really like, but I've got to be honest, on this black I think it looks spectacular. And then we've got all the equipment, so we've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, etc, etc, etc. But the real thing obviously is the engine. As I say, around 270 horsepower and around 6 seconds to 60. It feels much faster than that, I've got to be honest. And what they did with this car is ditch the 4-wheel drive system, so now it's only powered by the front axle, which I think personally has completely transformed the way this car drives. So what I'm going to do now, put it into sport, flick the gearbox across, and well, firstly I think it sounds great, and secondly, watch this. Oh, the front axle is getting a little bit squirrely, but it gives. It's so much fun. That's the one thing that I always come back to with this car. I mean, listen to it. Oh, it just picks up and shifts. It's so much quicker than I expected it, well, than I remember it being. It really does just go. You get a little bit of wheel spin from the front wheels. It's a lot of power obviously going through the front wheels, but once you're up and going, you don't really get any torque steer. It just feels like it wants to grip and go. It's got a real joy to this car. It feels fantastic. The 8-speed ZF gearbox, obviously lightning fast shifts. It always is with these gearboxes, but it's not about that. It's about the way it goes down the road, and the way it goes down the road is just so full of joy. It's like a little excitable dog. I mean, it's like, oh, come on, let's go, and then it goes. It reminds me a little bit, and this is big, this is praise, I mean this in the very best possible way, it reminds me of a little bit of a John Cooper Works Mini. It has that sort of level of immediacy and sort of get up and go, and that sort of, come on, let's go for a drive, let's go and have some fun. It really does. The way that it corners is so mighty. You know where the front end is at all times, you don't get any understeer. It just fills you with confidence every single time you turn the wheel. It feels mighty quick and just so joyful. The engine, obviously, it breaks in after a while. This is a brand new car, so I'm not going to give it too much. But once the engine is broken in a little bit more, they even sound good. You get a really nice rasp to the exhaust. And I mean, on little roads like this, little back roads around the UK, it's a phenomenal little car. It's a real B-road barnstormer. And then when you want to drop it back and all back into comfort, it really relaxes. The character changes quite a lot, and then it becomes just a really good cruiser. You get a bit of tyre noise, but it's nothing drastic in the slightest. It feels wonderful. Just to cruise around, and you've got, as I say, you've got all the equipment. The Harman Kardon sound system is sensational. All the digital dials and stuff, we've become used to them now. They are so easy to use. The operating system 7 is fantastic. The build quality of everything in this car is just bob on. It's really high quality stuff. And even though it's a 1 Series, it just feels incredibly high quality in every single way. I love the way it looks now. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. Has it grown on you? Obviously there was a lot of talk, and you know what, this is a BMW thing. There's always a lot of talk when a new BMW comes out. Everyone's like, oh, I don't really like it, but they always grow on people. And it's unquestionable, and this 1 Series, I think, has done exactly the same thing. It's grown on people, it's grown into itself, it's become a bit more grown up and just more accepted. I think it's a cracking looking thing. And then, I mean, come on, it's a TI, let's go for a little drive. It really just picks up its feet, wakes up, and shifts with a real immediacy and poise on British B roads. It's not thrown off by potholes or bumps in the road and undulations and cambers. It just squats and goes. It's a little bit wet, as you can probably see from the footage from the outside camera, but it doesn't matter. Even in the wet, it just feels so lively. As I say, it's got a real joy to it. It's a fabulous little car, this. And if you want any more information on the BMW 128 Ti, please use the link in the description of this video to contact the guys at Rybrook BMW and just book a test drive. Come and see one, come and experience. Oh, this joy, it's such a joyful little thing, and I would recommend one all day, every day. If you're in the market for a fun little hot hatch, you can't look past one of these. This has to be in your considerations, and for me, it'd be the one to go for. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Really little sort of, well, not last minute, but impromptu video, this one. So please let us know in the comments below if there's any other cars that you think are really sort of in the range of cars that are forgotten about, just like this. It's a real gem of the BMW range, this. Thank you guys, and I'll see you again really soon.